But yes, I love this book so much. Oh, I forget about him all the time, but he is one of those characters that when I remember him, ooh, I love him. Hello, today we are tier list ranking the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I've wanted to do this for so long, but I finished Chain of Thorns a few weeks ago now, so I feel like now's the perfect time to do this. I have been reading the Shadowhunter Chronicles since I was like 13, 12 or 13 maybe. But yes, I'm very excited to see where I place these things. I have no idea what my ranking is going to be, so you'll have to forgive me. Now, I did make my own tier list thing because I didn't really understand the way the website worked, so we're working with what I've got. I am really nervous, but let's go through the tiers. Let me move to the side so there's room for it. Okay, so up the top we have Perfection. This is self-explanatory. It's a perfect book. Then we have Really Good, which is where I think most books that I read would kind of rank. We've got Decent, we've got Meh, and we've got Kind of Forgettable, which so I don't know if this is going to be a long one, so I'm just going to get started because I feel like I'm going to talk a lot. So now, I was going to go publication order, but I think I'm going to do like entire series as a whole kind of thing. So starting with City of Bones, the thing about the Mortal Instruments is that like it's my least favorite of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, and they all kind of blend together for me. So I think City of Bones is like meh. I feel bad because I want to make it clear, I do genuinely like these books. I just think that there's better, you know? I have nothing to say about City of Bones. I mean, City of Bones was where it all began, so I mean that has to mean something, but I just don't think it's that good. I have a little problem. I don't think it's aged well is maybe the problem for me. I need to look up, I'm just thinking this is bad, I need to look up what happens in each of the Mortal Instruments books because I have no idea. I think City of Ashes is when Simon talks to Raziel. The fact that I'm looking it up is telling me all I need. I think it's going in Kind of Forgettable. Whoops. Now, City of Glass, I think, is decent. I actually quite like City of Glass. I think because it was meant to be the end of the series, it's pretty good. I think Cassandra Clare is generally quite good at ending series. So, yes. City of Fallen Angels, on the other hand, is Kind of Forgettable. I can't remember anything that happens in that book. What? Genuinely nothing. I'm thinking, what happens after City of Glass? Huh. Wow, that's pretty bad. I'd say it's Kind of Forgettable. Whoops. Next is City of Lost Souls. I'm gonna put it in either meh or decent. Meh. The only thing I remember about City of Lost Souls is the breakup, the Magnus and Alec breakup, and not much else, which isn't good. I wish I remembered more about these books. I feel like I'm being so boring right now. Moving on, we have City of Heavenly Fire, which I do genuinely think is a really good book. See, I'm not slandering the Mortal Instruments. I do think it can be good. I actually quite like City of Heavenly Fire. That was the first book I ever was waiting on and like got really excited for and had theories for. I like City of Heavenly Fire. Okay, next up we have The Infernal Devices, which I didn't read until like 2017 or 2018. Clockwork Angel. Ooh, decent or pretty good? I'm gonna go decent. I do think it's good, but I think that the other books in that series are better. So, I think that Clockwork Prince is really good. I'll say that. I do think that with time, Cassandra Clare just gets better, but yeah, I love the Infernal Devices. It is really good. Oh my god. So, moving on to Clockwork Princess, we have our first perfection. I love Clockwork Princess, and I know this is not like an unheard of thing. Everyone loves Clockwork Princess. That epilogue hurt so good. The characters from the Infernal Devices just hit different. Like, that is the kind of love triangle I want to see, and the kind of outcome to a love triangle that I want to see. I love those characters so much. But moving along, we're up to the Dark Artificers, and this is where I get excited. The Dark Artificers is my favourite Cassandra Clare series. I adore the Dark Artificers. Lady Midnight is really good. I think that Lady Midnight is her best first book of a series, maybe, or Chain of Gold, maybe. I don't know. Lady Midnight is so good. I love the Dark Artificers so much. The characters are compelling and fun, and see, I can't even talk about it because I just get like this. I just start like laughing and giggling to myself. But I think Lady Midnight's really good. I think that, like, in terms of a villain, it's like really interesting. I like that there is like a villain, but there's also just an antagonistic force isn't the word. There is just a problem that they're trying to deal with. I actually quite like that it's kind of about like the fairy politics. I thought I was gonna hate that before I read it, and turns out I loved it. Next we have Lord of Shadows, which straight away, perfection. I love Lord of Shadows. It might be like my favourite Cassandra Clare book. I love Lord of Shadows so much. I love the dynamic we start to get between like Livy, Ty and Kit. Honestly, I love every character and the way every character kind of interacts with each other. But yes, I love this book so much. Lord of Shadows was like one of the books that got me like really back into reading, which I really love for me. I actually, when I read The Dark Artificers, I was in school still, and a girl that I used to sit with was like, you should read it, it's really good. And I was like, okay, sure, let's go. And she had said to me that the end is really sad. And so I went into it being like, uh-oh, the end is really sad. And so I actually recorded myself reading the last chapter and just crying. You're not gonna see that, but it is a video that does exist on one of my hard drives somewhere. And like, I thought the sad part happened and then it wasn't the sad part. Oh, I love that book. I love Lord of Shadows so much. Next up, we have Queen of Air and Darkness, which I think is another perfect book. I, again, love the Dark Artificers. I loved following Kit and Ty on their little adventure. I loved seeing Kit's kind of internal struggle. I love the outcome of the Kieran, Mark, Christina love triangle. I love Julian and Emma. I loved seeing Magnus and Alec and their family. I loved this book. Next up, we have the Last Hours series, starting with Chain of Gold. I have no idea how I'm going to rank the Last Hours. Like, I had a good idea for the rest of these, like where they'd sit. The Last Hours is so fresh to me that I just don't know. Ooh, I'm a little... Okay, what happens in Chain of Gold? Cordelia comes to town, there's the party, Grace shows up, there's the demons. I think Chain of Gold gets really good. I think. I'm so like conflicted about these placings. I think that the characters from this series are just so compelling. I genuinely have so much love for every single one of them, and having just read Chain of Thorns, I'm like still in it. Next up is Chain of Iron, which I think is perfection. I think that Chain of Iron is the best book in the series. And ooh, I just love it. The thing is, right, like, I just love angst. I love a good angsty ship. I loved seeing like James and Cordelia, and like as much as I hated every page Grace was on, it was still really compelling. And Matthew and Lucy and Jesse and Alistair and Tom, everyone was iconic. I just I love it, okay, I love it. Now, Chain of Thorns is the only one of these books that like I've only read once. It came out like 2 weeks ago. I'm still very fresh to it. I didn't like it as much as I was hoping I would. It's definitely below Chain of Iron for me. I still really enjoyed it though. I think it's really good. I think that maybe, I don't know how to explain it. There were a lot of parts that felt like fan service, but also like they were natural progressions of the story. There are things that I'm like really glad happened, but I just don't quite know how I feel about it. I can't articulate my feelings yet, so that will come in time, I'm sure. So those are like the main books, I guess, but there are 5 more to go. Next up we have the Bane Chronicles, which I read it years ago. I don't remember a lot. I'd say it was decent. You know, I do love the novellas. I love just like getting random bits of the story. I think it's so fun. But none of the Bane Chronicles really stick out to me. I'm trying to think. I think that it was just like the kind of thing where like it's fun, but it's not like my favorite thing ever. Next up we have Tales from Shadowhunter Academy, which I think is pretty good, if not perfection. I loved Tales from Shadowhunter Academy. I think I was reading that as they came out. I loved it. Oh my god, I loved it. I love Simon as a character, and George Lovelace, oh, I forget about him all the time, but he is one of those characters that when I remember him, ooh, I love him. I think that this book has so many fun bits. I mean, we get to see Max, oh, we get to see like all of our favorite characters just like having a good time for the most part, I guess. It's also where we were introduced to a lot of the characters from the last hours, which is super fun. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. Next is Ghosts of the Shadow Market, which I definitely was reading as they came out. And I think I'm gonna say it's perfection. I think that learning about like the Lost Herondale was really interesting, and I mean following Jem is always something I'm gonna love. So yeah, I loved it. I loved it so much. I can't remember a lot of it, these novella bind-ups. There's just so many stories in them that like I can't remember. But I'm thinking, this is where we met Anna, I think, for the first time. Every Exquisite Thing, I think, was in Ghost of the Shadow Market. And that's like one of my favorite pieces of Cassandra Clare that I've ever read. So yes. We have 2 books to go. The first is Red Scrolls of Magic. I'm gonna say that it is decent. I'm gonna be honest, the Elder Curses series is one that I forget about all the time. I think just because it wasn't one that came out like kind of in a row, or like it doesn't feel like it's a consistent part of the series. It's like we're just kind of popping in and out of like Magnus's life, but I don't remember like a lot of what happened in it. Lastly, we have The Lost Book of the White, and I'm gonna say that that is also decent. Don't get me wrong, I thought they were super fun. It's just not like my favorite thing ever, but I think they're maybe the kind of books that like I need to reread. Okay, is this my final ranking? Do I need to move anything? Let's see. Now, they're not in any order. Once they're in their tier, I'm not ordering them within that. But if I were to pick my favorite from the Perfection tier, oh, that feels impossible. Ooh, I want to say Lord of Shadows, but it could be Queen of Air and Darkness because I love both of them. Ooh, Chain of Iron is also so good. I don't know if I can pick. I do think that my favorite Cassandra Clare book is probably Lord of Shadows or Queen of Air and Darkness. I don't know. If we went based on this, what my like tier of the series as a whole are, it looks like we're going with The Dark Artificers, The Last Hours, The Infernal Devices, The Mortal Instruments. I forgot the Eldest Curses again. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I think that this is about what I assumed I'd have. My cat's about to jump onto my window. Up she goes. Hello. Yeah, this feels about right, I think. I'm actually quite surprised that one of the novellas, well, novella bind-ups, is in the top tier because I don't think I would have considered that the best, but also it kind of is. But yes, that's all I've got for you today. If you liked this video, you can give it a thumbs up. Let me know what your favorite Cassandra Clare book is because I think it says a lot about you as a person. What does it say about me that Lord of Shadows is my favorite? Don't know. But yes, that's all I've got for you today. You can subscribe, I upload twice a week, and I will see you next time. Bye.